In the Star Trek franchise, space is often referred to as the final frontier because it represents the outer limits of human knowledge and exploration. However, in recent years, the concept of the multiverse has gained popularity in science fiction and has been incorporated into the Star Trek universe as well. In today's video, we'll talk about how space is no longer the final frontier in Star Trek anymore. Starting off with how space has now been replaced with something more interesting. The multiverse is the idea that there may be multiple universes that exist alongside our own, each with its own set of laws and physical properties. In the Star Trek universe, the existence of the multiverse has been explored in several episodes and films and has become an important part of the overall narrative. As a result, the concept of the multiverse has replaced space as the final frontier in the Star Trek universe. Rather than simply exploring the vastness of space, the characters in the franchise are now also tasked with exploring the different dimensions and alternate realities of the multiverse. This adds a new level of complexity and mystery to the Star Trek universe and provides a fresh new direction for the franchise to explore. While it may seem a little complicated, it's better that we're seeing this happen. As the Star Trek franchise expands, they're bound to explore more and more stories, and there's only so much that they can talk about regarding space and its adventures, especially considering that human knowledge is extremely limited in that department, and creativity is usually inspired by things we know. Next up, why did Star Trek start with space in the first place? Captain Kirk and the USS Enterprise were introduced to viewers at a time when space exploration was a major focus of public interest and investment. The original Star Trek series was released during the height of the space race when NASA's annual budget had reached $5 billion. This was a time of great excitement and optimism about the possibilities of space travel, and the series capitalized on this enthusiasm by depicting a utopian vision of the future in which humanity had made great scientific and technological advances. However, the world has changed significantly since the original Star Trek series was released. The space race has ended, and space exploration is no longer a major focus of public attention or government funding. As a result, the concept of the final frontier in the Star Trek universe has evolved to encompass the exploration of the multiverse rather than simply space. This new direction for the franchise adds a layer of complexity and mystery and allows the characters to explore new dimensions and alternate realities. Following up, how the multiverse is becoming Star Trek's final frontier. The Star Trek franchise has basically been the incubation center for stories that revolve around time travel, but the use of this trope has become particularly prominent in the Star Trek Discovery series. In the fourth season of the series, the crew of the USS Discovery travels to the 32nd century, where they encounter a galaxy that has been through a period of turmoil and is in need of the values and ideals that the Discovery crew represents. The season focuses on the importance of communication and diplomacy, with the crew leaving the galaxy to confront an alien race whose actions could have devastating consequences for all life in the Milky Way. The captain of the Discovery, Michael Burnham, has learned to overcome her aggressive tendencies and become a true diplomat, which is a perfect representation of Gene Roddenberry's vision for the franchise. The use of time travel allows these themes and events to be explored in the story. We're not sure about you, but this entire deviation is making us really excited. More so because a multiverse setup means that the studio is planning to make much more Star Trek content, and who doesn't want that? Next up, how the spin-off deals with the continuation. The spin-off series, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, is set in the same universe as Star Trek Discovery and continues to explore the theme of time travel. The series follows Captain Christopher Pike, Kirk's predecessor on the USS Enterprise, who has gained knowledge of his own tragic fate and must grapple with the question of how to live with this knowledge, particularly when it is not positive. The series also uses the idea of time travel as a way to examine Pike's character and explore the themes of fate, free will, and how we choose to live our lives. Similarly, in the second season of Star Trek Picard, time travel is used to explore the character of Jean-Luc Picard, who is forced to confront his heritage after the quasi-omnipotent being Q rewrites history. This use of time travel allows the series to examine the themes of identity, legacy, and the impact of the past on the present. Both Star Trek Strange New Worlds and Star Trek Picard uses time travel as a tool to delve deeper into the characters and themes of the series, adding a layer of complexity and intrigue to the narrative. Coming up, how the multiverse was introduced initially. The Star Trek franchise has always been interested in the exploration of time travel and alternate realities, and this is particularly particularly evident in the modern series Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Picard. In the former, the crew's adventures begin when their ship is transported to a mirror dimension, which is an alternate timeline with a dystopian society. The main villain of the 4th season, Ruan Tarka, is obsessed with finding a way to a world where a loved one has not died, which is a clear indication of the importance of the multiverse in the narrative. In the latter series, Jean-Luc Picard's time travel adventures are triggered by the meddling of Q, and the use of time travel allows the show to delve into themes of identity, legacy, and the impact of the past on the present. Let's now learn about why Star Trek has become fascinated by the multiverse. Some would argue that the answer is short and simple. It's trendy and gets the viewer's attention. But is that it though? As much as it may seem that the franchise is trying to follow the trend, it's much more than that. One of the reasons may be that space exploration is no longer as widely viewed as exciting and has become underfunded. Private citizens, rather than states, are often the driving force behind the latest innovations in space exploration, which runs counter to the utopian vision of the future in Star Trek, where money has ceased to be a part of human society. The incorporation of the multiverse allows the franchise to continue to be relevant and explore new themes and ideas, even if space exploration is not as prominent as it once was. What's more, how the mirror universe in the franchise tackles the whole multiverse idea. The mirror universe in the Star Trek franchise is an alternate reality that allows characters to explore different versions of themselves and their destinies. This concept is appealing because it allows viewers to ask questions and consider the possibilities of alternate realities and outcomes. In the mirror universe, characters are often confronted with darker versions of themselves, which can serve as a reflection of their own fears and regrets. This can be a powerful way for viewers to explore deeper questions about their own identities and destinies, as well as the broader themes of pessimism and fear about the future that are prevalent in modern culture. Through the lens of science fiction, the mirror universe provides a way for viewers to ponder over these mind-blowing concepts in a more engaging way where they can understand better and explore too. Following up, are we looking at the multiverse at the center of the Star Trek story? There's not a single doubt that Star Trek is going forward with the whole multiverse and time travel concept. In fact, we think that it's most likely that they'll be highly invested in it on all fronts. It's unclear if they'll start it off with Star Trek Discovery Season 5 or will push for a later date. But one thing is for certain, it will happen, sooner or later. Although another thing to note maybe is that although we may see a lot of multiversal and time traveling content in the franchise, this isn't going to be central forever. This does answer one question that we raised earlier. Could it be that Star Trek is inspired by other franchises using multiverse? And the answer could be yes, since audiences are indeed attracted to it for now. As times change and as humanity discovers more, our combined interests will change, and who knows what would be next after space and multiverses. Moreover, there's so much more than just the multiverse that is yet to be explored in the Star Trek universe, especially when it comes to translating older media into new, modern Star Trek series and movies. Finally, now that we're talking about other franchises, let's compare them. And is that even fair? Of course, we're in no position to make such a call, but hey, you can't just hope to compete with Marvel. Sure, you can build towards it, but you can't just force your movies to be as popular as the competition just by throwing money at them. It's a little too ambitious. This is in reference to the multiversal stuff that we're talking about, because let's be fair, Marvel itself hasn't been doing that great lately, and that's more to do with how they've made everything so complicated that now they have to keep everything so simple and plain so that nothing clashes with another. In comparison, Star Trek's got a very strong fan base. Yes, it's not as massive as Marvel's or DC's or even Star Wars's, but it does have one, and a pretty solid one. Maybe try entertaining them and you'll get your share. But moving on from that, there is a whole array of storylines that can still be explored. One of these is the versus Borg story arc. What about that, right? Do you realize how many fans would jump back into the cinemas to see Kirk fight the Borg? That's actually another opportunity to tap into the niche fan base. But that is a wrap for this video. What's your opinion on Star Trek's switch towards multiverse and time travel? Do you think it's a good idea? Or should they have stuck with space-related adventures? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.